Hi, I'm Peter Cowan, the Bee Whisperer. We're here in the Bangor yard now at the radio station of WKIT and what zone radio it is, and Bangor High School, right between the two. What we have in the yards at the moment is still early in the morning. We've got some clustering at the entrances, but the field bees are starting to get going. We have plenty of fanning at the entrances to cure nectar. We need to get a few weeds out of the way. But one thing I'm noticing in this yard compared to my yard in Hamden, I don't smell any goldenrod. I hope that is not a sign that we don't have a flow. I would expect that there's some sort of flow here. But unlike my yard in Hamden, I can smell goldenrod really thick. I could smell it from 100 yards away. And I don't have a great sense of smell. But we'll see. We'll have a look in and see what's been happening in the last couple of weeks. It's been a little while since I've been in this yard. So grab the smoker. And we'll just start off right in the corner, which I usually do. And we'll be looking here in terms of whether the hives need more room or whether it's time to take off any honey. There are certainly a lot of bees, so the field force is not out yet. This colony is a double deep, so I wouldn't be able to take this off straight away anyway, because I would expect this top super to be full of brood. But might not be, who knows. I can see plenty of honey in there. It certainly needs some room, whatever we do. Even though there's some frames here that probably aren't built. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, this frame's not built yet. But even if the bees don't build all their frames, you can still be adding supers of foundation up above. There is some signs they are starting to build on this frame, the outside edge. By just what we opened up, we can see there's plenty of bees in this hive, so they've got room for more. It's full of honey here, or filling up with honey. Not every bit is filled up. They've been backfilling the brood area with honey, so this is all partially filled with honey. We'll just see how much of this space has been filled up. We've got eggs in here, so the queen is certainly up in this section. Now when the bees bring nectar into the hive during a honey flow, they start by filling up the brood chamber with nectar. Put droplets of nectar in the field bees come in, they transfer honey to the house bees. The house bees then store it in open cells within the brood chamber. But look at that brood. Beautiful brood pattern. This is actually quite characteristic of a few weeks after your formic acid treatment. The bees really bounce back with a lot of really well positioned brood. I mean, look how well they're filling that. They've got brood right up, and then they're back filling with honey right up to the edge of the brood chamber. So this area, there's a honey flow certainly on, and they're refilling up this center of this brood chamber with honey. Look at that brood, beautiful. So we certainly have a good field force. I'm getting a lot of, I'm seeing a lot of reports of really good and lots of brood in the brood chambers of hives. And it's getting a little late in the season for there to be a lot of brood in the brood chamber, but it's not unheard of. So here I'm back to eggs on this one, but cap brood and larvae on this side, so that's 3 good frames of brood, with eggs on this one, cap brood, some cap brood and young larvae there. full of capped brood here that's emerging, and they're backfilling it already. And what we can do with this is shake it and see if there's much nectar from yesterday. Yep, look at that nectar come out. This is from the honey flow of yesterday. This is not what's collected today. This is still nectar in the top of the brood chamber here. So we've got a halfway decent honey flow. If they'd cured it, it'll already be too thick to be shaken out. But this is relatively thin stuff. So that's 4 and a bit frames of brood here, and I can see plenty of brood on this one as well. So this is a lot of brood in the brood chamber, upper brood chamber. Look at all that brood as well. So we've got 5 good frames of brood and a half, 5.5 frames of brood upstairs. That probably means there's quite a bit of brood downstairs as well. So this colony is booming with population. And this is, we saw all the bees on the top of the hive. This is before all those 4, let's see, we've got 4 of those 5 frames are full of capped brood, one of which is emerging. So we've got 4 more frames of capped brood to emerge within the next week, which means enough bees to cover another deep supers full of bees. So we're certainly going to be putting another deep super on this hive for a honey super to give them somewhere to put those resources as they bring them out. I would say that this super is about half full for the winter. I don't think I'm going to change it down to a single. I think we'll keep it as a double, but I think we will put a deep super on here for honey super, but we'll make sure we put a queen excluder on that. So that will be our next task. I'll let Jordan take care of that, and we'll move on to the next hive. Let's look at one of these bigger ones now. That hive that we just went through certainly looked healthy. Bit of smoke in the entrance. It's usually best to wait a few minutes with the smoke, or wait a good 30 seconds, but so far these bees seem really not too bothered about our presence. This super is next to empty, I think. Well, this left-hand side might have about 10 pounds in it, so it's about a third full. This one, on the other hand, looks pretty full. Now, unlike honey flows in the spring, which everything looks white, here in Maine, a honey flow in the fall, everything looks yellow because it's so covered with goldenrod pollen. Look how bright yellow all of this is. The wax is white, but it's all covered with goldenrod pollen, which makes for a very different looking colony. You want to come to this side, Jordan, and sun at your back? We'll see what the weight feels like here. That's full of honey. That could come off. If we knew where the queen was. This deep. Let's see if we got much brood in here. Looks full of honey. Make some space here. Certainly full of fresh honey there. Not capped, but let's see how. Nothing coming out of it, which is promising in terms of being reasonably well cured. There's a deep and a medium below this for brood chambers, so I'm hopeful that there's not too much brood up here full of honey. Full of honey. The reason I'm doing this is because I don't have a queen excluder on this hive. I want to see what the situation is in here before committing to driving the bees down. And I think the fume boards might be enough to get them out of here without the risk of having the queen in here. Yeah, I mean, these supers are full of honey. Probably don't have to go all the way across, but if this one is brood free, then we're going to start taking honey off these ones. There's a bit of pollen and a few eggs. We've just got into some eggs here. I'll check the frame next to it. So the brood chamber is extended up to here. Maybe I can swap. This is the reason why I like to have, look at that. This is the reason I like to have the queen excluders on early, but I never got them onto this yard. They're backfilling everything with honey here, but we have some frames of honey, frames of brood here that I would like to leave behind. I don't want to take them with me, so that's 2 frames with brood in them. There's probably a third here. And what we'll do is we'll look in the super below and see if we've got frames that are just full of honey. I can swap them with some brood there. It'd be great if we saw the queen. We could move her down right away. And there's a bit of brood on the 4th one as well. So let's see what we have below, see if we can't move things around. I'll have to take this over here though. Oh, that is heavy. Even though there's a fair amount of brood in there, that is a heavy super. We're going to make it a lot heavier. Now that is provided we've got some honey around the outside edges here, and it looks like the brood chamber is pretty solid over here. So I can only take that super off if I can replace those frames with frames of honey. Now I suppose I could do them from other hives. Just swap the brood around, like in that other hive. There's some empty space here, but we've got brood right to the outside edges here. So this hive, and I see brood right there, so I can't really replace them with honey here, but what I could do is take some honey out of there. So that's what we'll do. This is the dilemma when you don't have a queen excluder on. Best bet is to shake all the bees down in there and tick them all off. Put that on top of there, and this, and we're hoping, we had frames of honey here, didn't we? Frames that were just honey. Question is, did we have enough of them? That was foundation. Blow some smoke on here, please. Okay, so put the honey over there just for now. And here. Eggs. That's 2. Not much going on here. It's got brood on it, I think. It does. Okay. So we're going to put the brood that we've got here in this. That goes back in here. This frame can go over there. It's honey and eggs. We can probably keep this one. We'll forget about the eggs. If we had the queen out of here, we'd be able to know what we were doing. This can go into that hive. As near the middle as you can. Let's see, what have we got on this outside edge? Yeah, it can go just right on the outside edge there. This brood can go in there. See, this hive has all the brood we possibly want. And we're just throwing a little bit of extra strength into that other one. Not that it's going to be short of it, but it will even further increase the probability of getting honey. You can put it in here. So, honey. Okay, so we've got two nearly empty ones there if we want to swap out with any others. Okay, so we could shake the bees out of this and extract one of these. Let's see, we can close up that hive now. We can put that super back, the queen excluder on and the honey super back on. Okay, just for temporarily, we're going to use this. And we will shake the bees out of this, out of both these boxes into here. This is the one that's least likely to have stuff in it, so I'll try and shake them up. This is the top honey super. I think the queen is very unlikely to be there. Don't see her anywhere. And this is full, so we're going to take the frames out of here. Let's take the frames out and shake them and put them back. The chances of having the queen back in here are going to be pretty slim. Just check for brood on that side in particular. This is why it's so much easier to have a queen excluder on. Let's load these back up. No queen to worry about here. In fact, we could probably just take the honey supers as they are. But we'll use a fume board just to drive them out. Now we can put the queen excluder on here. So, queen excluder, and we've got a deep super. That should be good. Okay, take this off. Ready with the queen excluder? Go ahead. And we'll put this one on, then the other one. And that one. Okay, and we want a fume board. Ugh. Whew. There isn't. It's full of honey, but I bet there's brood up here. Yeah, feels like you can see the brood. Lots of brood here. We've got a flow going on. We'll shake these bees and put a queen excluder on this and put another super on it. A medium, I think. Okay, so this yard has progressed pretty well. I didn't hold out much hope for taking out much honey at this stage, but we've probably taken off 4 supers, average of about 35 to 40 pounds a piece, so say 150 pounds or so, which is good. There will be certainly more coming off. We now have queen excluders below the honey supers, and so from here on in it'll be relatively easy as we've shaken down the brood and to make sure the queen is further down anywhere there was brood in the upper honey super, and we've cleared that up. And even if there is any brood over a queen excluder now, which I don't think there is, it'll emerge by the time we take the honey supers off in about 3 weeks. So back to the bee yard in Hampden, get out of the heat. We got the job done before it got too unbearable today, and we will maybe do some honey extracting. I'm Peter Cowan, the Bee Whisperer. See you next time.